paying for school can be a pricey problem if you don't have a handle on your personal finances. As an 18-year-old headed to college this fall, no one knows this feeling better than Scott Gamm, the self-proclaimed money mentor and founder of the personal finance website HelpSaveMyDollars.com. Scott joins us today for some of his top tips on back-to-school savings. Scott, and now you can also do a lot of coupon searching online as well for sort of if you're doing online shopping with coupon codes that you can enter into right there on the computer.
Absolutely. Anytime you do any online shopping, there'll usually be a space or a box to enter a promotional code, and never leave that box blank. You want to head to promotionalcodes.com. There you can find money-saving promotional codes for over 9,000 different brands.
Fantastic. Now, of course, any kid going back to school faces a big shopping list. You say don't always take the shopping list that your school gives you as all necessary items.
Absolutely, and this really applies to elementary school kids, middle school, high school. I remember shopping for back to school years ago when I was younger, and my parents and I would buy almost everything on the list, and then I'd get to school a few weeks later and I wouldn't need nearly half the items on the list. So just keep in mind that schools tend to over-exaggerate these back to school lists, and stick to the basics.
Stick to the basics, and if you don't have something as you go, then you can get it then.
Absolutely.
Right?
A lot of the stores will mark the items off after back to school season when everyone's done.
Right, so get those savings by waiting. All right, now speaking of textbooks, there are some ways that students can save here as well.
Absolutely. If you go to helpsavemydollars.com/textbooks, I have an entire textbook search engine. Basically, you type in the name of the textbook and it will find the retailer that sells that book for the lowest cost. You can also rent textbooks at websites called chegg.com. You could even buy and sell used textbooks at websites called bigwords.com. But what's interesting is that just a few weeks ago, Congress passed a law that said that for any school that receives federal funding, they're going to need to disclose to students exactly how much money in textbooks it will cost for those particular classes, and this will give students advance notice to prepare for the high cost of textbooks.
Very interesting, and perhaps not choose that class if the cost is too high. Now then, once you finish with the class, don't forget that you can make some of that money back.
Absolutely. You can resell your textbooks. Try to see if you could find someone who's younger than you, who's entering that grade, see if they want to buy it from you, or again, take advantage of those online sites to sell your textbooks and generate some more cash.
Absolutely. Now, is there any chance of if you're buying textbooks and things online, being scammed?
Well, the thing to keep in mind is that a lot of times these textbooks, the edition changes. So you want to make sure that you have the current edition. If you don't, your pages might not line up with the book that the rest of the class is using. So you want to do your research, make sure the publisher, the copier, everything is right, and make sure it matches the description that the school gives you for that textbook, and you should be fine.
Now, you mentioned earlier when we were talking about credit cards that students should take advantage of their credit unions. Are there other advantages besides just credit cards?
Absolutely. You can even open up a savings or checking account at your credit union, and most schools have a credit union, and here you'll usually receive a higher interest rate on a checking or savings account than traditional banks. Also, you really get that one-on-one attention from a credit union, and this is really important because it's so crucial that anytime you make any financial decision, you understand exactly what you're getting into, and at credit unions, they give you that special sort of treatment.
Right. Now, obviously you're so young, but you have such a handle on your finances. Who taught you this? Did you learn it at home?
Well, I've always had an interest in finance and been doing a lot of research and having the site for the past year, and really wanted to make sure that I don't make some of the financial mistakes later on in life that got us into this recession. Right,
absolutely. Very, very smart. Now, what advice do you have for students who are looking for a way to pay for college? For instance, how are you personally paying for NYU, which is very prestigious? Congratulations on going there.
Well, definitely. You really want to take advantage of the school's financial aid office. There was a recent study that said that about 50 universities in the United States are changing their financial aid packages to include more scholarships and grants, which is free money, doesn't have to be paid back, instead of loans. And this is really great. So definitely apply for financial aid. Take a look at some scholarships at websites like fastweb.com. And you don't want to accumulate too much student loan debt, but keep in mind that student loan debt, going to college, it's an investment, and it will pay off in the future. So while you don't want to accumulate too much debt, you don't want to sell yourself short of getting a good education.
But you should also steer away from those personal loans. So you should try and make sure you're getting student loans as much as possible.
Definitely, and even private loans where the interest rate fluctuates and goes up and down. Try to rely on Stafford loans, unsubsidized and subsidized loans from the government. Parent Plus loans have a fixed interest rate of about 8%, and Plus loans come in huge amounts. So you'll be able to finance most of your education with a Plus loan. Again, not the greatest option,
right.
but what are you going to do?
Absolutely. All right, Scott Gamm, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tanya.